And welcome back to the channel. Hey, so you've been seeing all over social media, free Tory Lanez, free Tory Lanez. I found this clip online that we're going to react to. It's Tory Lanez's lawyer talking about new evidence in his case and how we'll get to the video and then I'll, like usual, give you my thoughts.
Good morning. We are here today to bring to your attention some information Unite the People believes is exculpatory in Mr. Daystar Peterson's case, professionally known as Tory Lanez. Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case. The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gaston, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's.
Man, they have already reached out to them. That's already looking bad. So that it sounds like that they want to share with them. They had to reach out to them to let them know about the evidence that's been found and to see what their thoughts are about. I'll stop talking.
Representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell. Unite the People represents Daystar Peterson in his appellate process. We filed.
He was stabbed 14 times. Also, one of those being to the face. I'm happy that brother pulled through that. That is a vicious attack. I'm happy that man is making a good recovery.
An appellate brief and a writ of habeas corpus on his behalf. The district attorney's office has already responded. The case is fully briefed. We're just waiting for the appellate court's decision. We were willing to wait for the appellate process to play out, but given that brutal, unprovoked attack, we felt it necessary to come here today to provide you with this information. It is our intention to make a request to the governor to either pardon or commute the sentence of Mr. Peterson, so that when he recovers from this attack, he's not returned to a jail cell, but that he's allowed to go home and recover. Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People.
She was married the whole time? I thought. All right, never mind.
And that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. The passenger side is where Ms. Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Ms. Peterson.
But that would mean that they knew that she was sitting in the passenger seat the whole time.
Did not shoot at Ms. Pete or did not assault Ms. Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense? We don't know. It should have been taken. It is
Sounds like Tory was getting set up from the jump this whole time.
unite the people's understanding, regular LAPD practice at a crime scene like that. Anybody who's there, the DNA is taken. Another irregularity. Why, at Miss Harris's police interview, was a non-lawyer, non-family member record company executive allowed to participate? Highly irregular situation. Normally, we see cases, strangers are not allowed in these things, but it was in this case. All of these things point to the highly irregular nature of his trial and his conviction. It is our contention that he was wrongly convicted. And while we at first were willing to let the process play out, it is our contention now that if he is not pardoned or released promptly, he may never come out. And that would be the ultimate injustice, is that he gets killed in prison for something he did not do. At this time, I'd like to bring up Mr. Gianno Caldwell, a media member who was working on that op-ed for the New York Post. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're definitely happy Tory pulled through that attack. And we definitely hope that he gets pardoned and released from prison. There's nothing worse than being set up for something that you didn't even do the whole time. And it sounds like Tory was just trying to stand up and didn't want to see 2 black women take the fall. And he was going to be the man and just take the fall. But it's not justice. You didn't do it. And now they have the evidence to prove that you didn't do it. So hopefully now justice can be served. The only thoughts you have on that is like, what happens with Megan? She was on the stand. So that would be perjury. This is all alleged. But that sounds like that would be perjury. And I don't know the sentencing for perjury in the state of California, but that is perjury. All this incident came from an argument that started at a pool party, which a lot of drinks were getting. It was pool party. Everybody was probably having a good time, they're indulging in, this and that and that and this, and tempers flare, especially when you got a situation where, from what my knowledge was, Tory was messing around with the friend and Megan, and they just so happened to find out on the same night, that night, and that's where the argument started from. So you take that along with indulging in alcohol, tempers flaring through the roof, and part of that, it's not right, but part of that might have been like kind of a get back. Like, hey, we got back at him. We got him out the picture, which was completely not right. And I hope that's not the case. But either or, it's an innocent man who has been stabbed 14 times and is sitting in prison. Hopefully that we can get this man back home to his family, his son, his father. His father's been speaking out this whole time. He's never bit his tongue, not once. So hopefully we can get him back home to his family and justice can prevail. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.